I recently graduated from my history degree and somehow that now translates in my head to making me qualified to talk about sports history, so here we go. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm Victoria and I talk about all things hockey and baseball related from across the pond in Scotland, and today I'm running through a very quick 5-minute history of the NHL. So since this is a quick overview, let's get started. So the most important date in North American hockey history is November 26, 1917 in Montreal. This is where the National Hockey League was organised following the suspension of the National Hockey Association of Canada Limited, or the NHA for short. The founding meeting was attended by the Montreal Canadiens, the Montreal Wanderers, the Ottawa Senators and the Quebec Bulldogs, and later the Toronto Arenas were added as a 5th team. However, it must be noted that in that first season Quebec did not operate. The very first NHL games were played on the 19th of December 1917. During the 1920s, the NHL expanded down into the United States and the Boston Bruins made their league debut in the 1925-26 season. The following season, the Chicago Blackhawks, Detroit Cougars and New York Rangers joined the NHL. The early days of the NHL were far removed from what we are familiar with today, and there were no multi-million-dollar contracts in sight. For example, in the 1938-39 season, expenses for each club were regulated at just $5 per man per day for meals and only $2.50 per man per day for accommodation. Between the 1940s and the 1960s, the original Six era played out in full, between the Bruins, the Blackhawks, the Red Wings, the Canadiens, the Rangers and the Leafs. This spanned from the 1942-43 season all the way through to 1966-67. Meanwhile, the first annual All-Star game was played for the benefit of the Players' Pension Fund in 1947 when the All-Stars defeated the Stanley Cup champions, the Toronto Maple Leafs. The 1960s saw an expansion of the NHL as the league doubled in size in the 1967-68 season with 6 new teams added, and they were the California Seals, the Los Angeles Kings, the Minnesota North Stars, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the St. Louis Blues. While the original 6 now made up the East Division, the West Division was formed by these new teams. These conferences are of course still relevant in the current NHL format. A rapidly growing league, the NHL had 21 teams by the time the 1970s were over, including Buffalo, Vancouver and Washington. It just continued to pick up pace, and in February 1993, Gary Bettman, the first commissioner in league history, began his role. North America continued to see more NHL growth over the next decades, and by the turn of the millennium, the league had 30 teams participating, and the NHL somewhat resembled the format that we are familiar with today. As the NHL saw more and more international players being added to the roster, during the 2000s, the league began attempts to draw in more international markets to reflect this, playing some regular season games in places like Finland, Germany, Great Britain and even Japan, just to name a few. The first outdoor NHL game was also held in the 2003-04 season, as more than 57,000 people attended the Heritage Classic game in Edmonton, where Montreal would manage a 4-3 win. Most recently, the NHL has grown to 32 teams after the Vegas Golden Knights were formed in 2017-18, and of course the Seattle Kraken were recently established in the previous 21-22 season. Despite the pandemic causing global havoc with cancelled games, bubble hockey and a whole different structure implemented just to play hockey, the NHL is now back to a pretty normal structure and is still going really strongly today and hopefully will continue to grow. So there you have it, a brief NHL history in under 5 minutes. For more content like this, or for anything related to baseball or hockey, make sure to comment down below with any of your suggestions or thoughts. Again, make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and I will see you all again soon. Bye guys.